Yes, to say everybody, tell the truth Monday. Our players fought. I told you after the game, I felt bad for them. Outstanding defensive effort again. To hold them to 16 points and good offense. And especially we held them to have their rushing yards, have their total yards. Damone Clark and Micah Baskerville is playing their best ball, which is very good to see. Bright spot, Savion Jones got a couple of reps in there, looked very, very good. Man, I was so happy to see him play very well. On offense, same old stuff. Got to tell the truth. I watched the film this morning with the coaches. We got to put our players in better positions. We got to call better players. We got to execute. It's the same old story. But hey, I'm not going to back off of that. And some of our players were frustrated after the game. I don't blame them. I mean, they're fighting, and we got to take the responsibility, and I'm accountable for that, to put them in better position, make plays. Special team, we should have been ready for that field goal fake. We're not. So we got some work to do. We're -3 in the turnover battle, which is very costly, as you guys know. We pride ourselves in winning the turnover battle. Red zone touchdowns, we got to score. Explosive plays, we got to beat contested plays. We got to be able to make them or be more creative to get our guys open. Bright spot on offense, as you guys know, Ty Davis is running the ball well, and so is Jack Best catching that football. All right, on to ULM. First of all, I haven't watched a whole lot of ULM this morning because I've been trying to fix LSU, but we're going to respect every opponent and get ready to play those guys. I'm glad the game's at 8 o'clock. Our Tigers fans get to get ready, and I get to go watch my son's last game. It's Cody's last game at McNeese, and it's senior day, and parents get to walk him on the field, so I'm very, very thankful to God that I'm able to do that and come back and coach our team. Any questions?
Hey, Coach, on the broadcast the other night, the announcer said something about Jake Peetz had told him he left the practice and let the quarterbacks do work, or y'all figure it out, or something like that. Did you hear about that, or do you know about that?
That's the first time I heard of that. Ain't happened on my watch. Maybe it might have been after practice or something like that, but I didn't see nothing like that, and that's the first time I hear something like that.
Okay, there were a few questions about that and
Yeah.
that story. I
Well,
don't know if you.
if it is, Jock, it's unacceptable. But I don't know that happened. It may have. I'll find out, though.
Coach, do you feel like you guys are practicing well on offense and then it's not carrying through to the play calling? Are you all practicing more than you're putting in the game, I guess is probably.
I'm sure we're practicing a lot. I think, from what I heard, the Alabama, and I addressed it, the Alabama game, that we had too much in, and it was kind of an overload for the players. That's what I heard, and I addressed it. I didn't hear it last week, though. I think they fixed it.
Ed, good morning. Just, I guess, the obvious quarterback question. What's kind of the plan at that position moving forward, and how would you assess how those guys have played?
Yeah, I like Garrett. I think he's a good player. I like Max, a good player. I don't feel like Garrett beat Max out. I don't think that Max deserves to be benched. I gave him a chance to beat him out, although I think he's a very good player. That play he made the touchdown play he made was a phenomenal play. But we also -3 in the turnover ratio. We only scored 7 points. So Max is still our starter. It's going to be up to Garrett and his father if they want a redshirt or if they want to play in a backup role. And perhaps, again, go in the game, and if he plays better, keep him in. But, if I were him, I'd redshirt. There's only 2 games left, but that's not my decision. And let me say this again. Some guys wrote some stuff that I really didn't like. I mean, I'm giving them the option to redshirt or not, and that's what I do for everybody. Now, who plays in this football game, I'll decide that. Thank you.
Is the red shirt still on the table for him?
Well, that,
Is the red shirt still on the table for him?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he had 1 more game left.
Okay. Is there any benefit to him starting or rolling through the whole week, Garrett, as a starter? Is there a benefit to see if that works?
Yeah, it could be, but I don't think it'll make a difference, Mike. It could be. They've been sharing snaps the whole time. You can look at it the other way. Would it have been a benefit for Max to get all the snaps? So it's kind of.
Hey, Coach, back here, good afternoon. I know you're still talking about some of the issues on the offensive side, but on the defensive side, Was it as simple as going to the 3-4 2 weeks ago to Alabama that's made such a difference, or what else? Because it certainly seems the continuity and the identity on defense
Yeah.
has come a lot faster than what you're still looking for on offense. I'm
Yes.
wondering, was it as simple as going to the 3-4, or what have you seen that's led to that?
Yeah, well, we put more people in the line of scrimmage. We got some darn good outside linebackers. We use them as outside linebackers, not 4-3 linebackers. We spread out, so we're playing really a 52 defense. And it looks like bear, but it also can be cover 8, and then we can bring anybody that we want. And we're doing a lot of zero blitzing, which I had never done here. So I've been the head coach. I'm from Pete Carroll's family. We don't zero blitz. We always have somebody in the post, but we wasn't getting enough on third down, so we're overloading their protection. And Coach Call helped us put in. Durante's doing a great job assimilating. Corey and Durante are doing a great job with the back end, not getting burned deep. The thing you worry about zero blitzes, you miss an assignment, it's touchdown. But our guys are executing it well. We've gotten out of the classroom per se, and we're on the field more with walkthroughs and stuff like that. And that's all started when I watched the Alabama offense. I just didn't think we could stay there in the 4-3 and duke it out with them whole game, and it worked. So we got a lot of stuff to build off of it. I wish I could have done anything, I'd have started this 4 years ago, to be honest with you.
Hey, Coach, when you hired Jake Peetz, he's obviously a bright guy, a lot of NFL experience. Would you, reflecting on it, maybe want a guy with more play calling experience, or do you feel like he's been learning on the job at all, or how do you look back on that?
You know, the one thing I did was trust Joe Brady. I wanted his offense. I wanted somebody who could run it. I knew there'd be a learning curve, and there's a learning curve, but that's also why I hired DJ. DJ's he's in charge of the third down. And look, those guys are new. There's a big learning curve. Was it a mistake or not? I won't say it was a mistake, but they need to do a better job, and they know that. I think the outstanding men, every time I get to work at 6 o'clock, they're there. Look, I came Saturday morning, work out early, DJ is there. It's not like they're not working. I just think that their experience level may not have been what I needed for this job.
Hey, Coach, going back to the defense side of the ball, you mentioned in the 3-4 with the outside linebackers, B.J. Ojolari on the outside, but then even with Mike Jones playing a lot as well.
That's right.
So what have you seen from those guys and how they've kind of taken on that challenge?
Yeah, you know, I told Mike we finally found a spot. You know, Mike was a nickel. Like, he plays on the slot. He came to LSU. He went to play in the middle. That plays on a guard. But we found a place in between, outside linebacker, and I really think we found him a spot. I really like him there. There's some technique stuff that we can fix. He's excited about. He's playing well, and it gives him a chance to play. It gives us a chance to not always play nickel, to have 3 linebackers in the game, because Micah can stay in there, DeMond can stay in there. Now he's on the line of scrimmage. So we kind of lucked into that, but we found him a spot. Hey, that's a good point. You noticed that, didn't you? Good stuff.
Coach, I'm going to beat Glenn to the punch here and ask about Cam. Cam Wire, his
Yeah.
status.
I don't think he's going to play the rest of the season. Doesn't look like it.
And then 2 made a really good play in the game. McLaughlin coming around and getting the ball. I guess if you just could speak to his future, and you getting a chance to see some guys, you know, that weren't slated to play this year, but that are stepping up and maybe getting a jump start on their careers.
I think Dwight's going to be one of the outstanding corners at LSU. I think he has a chance to be a high draft pick. He's very savvy. He's a great young man. He has a great personality now. He's always laughing and he's always cutting up a little bit, but when it comes time to get serious, the thing about Dwight, he's a tall corner that can run. I know Coach Carroll would love him. And he has great feet, and he's tough, and he wants to learn.
Hey, Coach, on your right. It wasn't until this past weekend that somebody passed Kayshon Boutte for the most receiving touchdowns in the SEC this year. Obviously, Kayshon hasn't played in a month. What was how hard was it to overcome losing him? And I know the game you win, Florida, Dre gets 3 touchdowns, but is it about finding a guy or two that can really dominate a game for you?
You know, we discussed that today. I think that whether it be schematically, whether it be what position they're playing, or whether it may be the player, we have not found a legitimate replacement besides Jack Best. I think if you look at our most dominant receiver right now is Jack Best. And but, you know, Kayshon's a very special player, obviously a big, strong player that can run. It reminds me a lot of Jamar. So not a lot of them will come around. But we haven't, besides Jack Best, we haven't found that lead dog to take our place.
Yeah, hey, Coach, you kind of mentioned after the game that the locker room was down, and that was something you needed to address. Just, I guess, kind of what's the message to the team, you know, that they're coming back on Monday for another
We got to get off the canvas. I had to get off the canvas yesterday. I was the same way. Today I'm better. It just takes a little time. We got a 24-hour rule, and we got to understand, man. We got to, listen. Somebody says, well, what do you got to lose? It's a game. We play to win the game. Okay? And that's important to us and competitive. And I want these guys to finish strong. I want them to be proud. Hey, and life's going to give you a bunch of stuff in your life, man. You got to keep on fighting. And if you keep on fighting now, you'll keep on fighting then, and you better teach your children to keep on fighting. If you stop now, you're going to stop then. It's no secret.
Hey, Coach, right here to your right. I would just want to know, we've lost a lot of guys this year. So how do you feel about the future of our class with the young guys that have stepped up and really have made a big difference and impact?
I think it's a very positive that they get to come in. You build in depth. Those guys are getting a lot of valuable reps. I think that when you get everybody back healthy, you see, obviously you got to look at the guys that declare for the draft. You got to look at the transfer portal. You got to look at academics. I'm really on our guys hard right now to finish strong in the classroom. I'm going to be going in a couple of weeks if we don't go to a bowl. One of the things I am concerned about is them continuing to go into class and be able to finish the semester strong.
Hey, Coach, it seems like you've had Trey Palmer back there returning punts and getting good, valuable, field position. Is it, part of the game plan to have him make those returns and not necessarily fair catch the ball? Or how important has he been, or the return position been for your team?
Very important. It's something I wish that we could do a better job of in the return game, get more results. But as you know, the spread punt has changed a lot of things. There's not a lot of big returns in college football anymore because of the spread punt. And there's not a lot of blocks because of the spread punt. But Trey has done a good job for us. He has gained some valuable yards for us. And I think that we've changed some things on our return game, changed some techniques that could give him some room. Coach Mack says if you hold up your guy for a second, it gives him 10 free yards. If we got 10 free yards, it's the first down.
Coach, do you feel Durante Jones has really grown into the job, and do you think he's got a future as a DC somewhere else?
I'm proud of him. I'm really proud of him. Look, when I went during the opening, I said, we're doing this. You know what he said? 2 words. Yes, sir. And put it in. Didn't blink. And he's calling them. He's got a feel for it. And listen, to call zero blitz, man, you know what I mean? You got to have some, And he's doing it. He's not blinking.
I guess kind of a follow-up to that, you mentioned back at the open date installing all those blitzers. There was a story relayed on the broadcast that an analyst came up at 6 o'clock on Friday night and had this new blitz. Was it just kind of a full team effort to sort of find those things and install that, or where did it really originate, all those ideas?
Well, we're looking at, I told the guys we got to change. Going into Alabama, we have to change. And I was looking at the front because that's my expertise. And we weren't stopping the run. It's hard to stop the run in 4-3. It really is. You got to just do different things or have Cortez Kennedy and Russell Maryland, and we don't have them yet, okay? But I knew some defenses that we could put in that would be better against the run and give them they have to change their blocking schemes. So while I was doing that, other people were researching that. And Coach Call came up to me, and it was a Friday morning. It was during the open date, and he says, Coach, I've got these blitzes. I know they're going to get home, but it got to be zero. I said, run them. So we came in that weekend, and we put them in, and we ran them all week, and they've been working for us.
I guess we should probably talk about Ed and Austin and Liam, the guys that have made it through the season. We talk about their replacements a lot. What about the durability that those guys have shown this year?
Yeah. I think Liam had 2 sprained ankles last week. It's kind of hard to walk on that, but he was practicing by Tuesday. Big Austin, every day there might be something wrong with him, but I think he's played more games now than anybody here. Ed Ingram had to miss the last game because of a concussion, but you know what? We're stretched as a unit. The O-line and D-line there, I guess, was the first one cheering him on, Ed Ingram. Those 3 are like brothers, so I'm very, very proud of those guys. They came back. The season didn't turn out like they wanted to, but you know what? They're still fighting. That says a lot.
You mentioned academics and your departure in a couple of weeks. It made me think of recruiting, and I'm sure every coach in the country will be trying to become poach, when that window opens or however it opens. I guess, what efforts are you doing there to try to ensure that, this class can stay in as tact as possible? And I saw the guys tweet, last week that they were all still solid, et cetera. But, I mean, if you could kind of give me your take on where recruiting is now.
Yeah, we do the same thing. We have a call sheet. I call my players, one call a week. Austin is having his personnel people text him all the time, just like we do. Saturday morning, we had a great call morning. We called all the guys, and everyone I've told that LSU is the place for them. I still believe it's the place for them, even though they're not committed. All the guys that we recruited, I told them the same story. They know it's true. On what they do after I leave, that's up to them. But I do think it's going to be in good hands. Austin's in there. I'm assuming there'll be some coaches that'll stay. Hopefully they take the lead, which I'm sure they will. And hopefully get a coach in place right away so we can start recruiting.
Coach, Terry Bowden's been around for quite some time now, the UL Monroe coach. Have you gone up against him in the past at any time?
Yeah, I know him. Obviously I went up against his daddy, Florida State and Miami, and I got to see him the other day. He looks good. He's older than me. He looks good. He's a good man. Pete Jenkins worked for him. I had a lot of good things to say about him. I watched him at Auburn when he had all those good years. A lot of respect for him. The thing I really am appreciative. He come in the first year, and we kept all our coaches, all the schools in the state of Louisiana together for the camps. And Monroe, as you guys know, is a city for the enemy. We got to keep them out. And he did a good job of not letting them in there.
Coach, over here on your right, walk us through how Max handled the benching. And
Say it again?
Walk us through how Max handled the benching. How do you think he handled it?
Like a champ.
How do you think he'll?
Like a champ. He didn't say a word, like a champ. Hey, look, he ain't said a word. Yes, sir. Got it. Yeah, that's it. And nothing else been said.
There were, after the game, I guess Nuss had thrown the pick and then maybe the game ended, and Nuss looked a bit down, and Mason Smith, Jack Besh, a lot of the freshmen were over there, kind of like you said with Max, picking him up, telling him it was all right. What do you think of just the character of this freshman class?
Outstanding. Probably the highest character freshman class we've had. And, Jack Marucci, who y'all read, does a lot of analytics and I don't know how he grades character, but he does. He says, Coach, this is the highest class we brought in. And he's the same one that told me before the 2019 year we'll win it because of the character we had on this team. So we feel like we have a high character class, and that shows those guys are close, man. Those guys stuck together. Nowadays everybody knows each other through recruiting, through the internet. They become friends before they get here, and they're really close. And those guys really like Garrett. He's kind of like the team favorite as far as one of the players. He's a leader. We put him on the leadership committee as a freshman, so he has all those qualities.
Coach, you already talked about the team morale, but I want to circle back just on the offense specifically, 2 back-to-back weeks where them making a play could have been the deciding factor in a win. How are they feeling on offense, and what have they been saying?
I think they're pissed, to be honest with you. I don't blame them. Just tell the truth. And we got to take responsibility. Well, we got to put them in a better position. That's the only way we keep this team together. We got to tell the truth. Now, if it was a play that, we should have made a play. It was right there. We could have beat a guy. We're wide open, and we missed the ball. That did not happen. There's a lot of times where they need to be put in better situations. I don't mind saying that. I'm responsible for that. I'm not – somebody's going to write that up, put somebody underneath the bus, whatever they call that. There ain't no bus over there where I live, okay? I'll just tell the truth, and that's the truth. We should have put them in better position. So those that write that, later. You can say that when you're a lame duck coach.
Not to circle back to the point, but after the game, you talked about the Tyrone Davis Price play. Did you learn, were they working on that during the week at practice, and did they feel confident in what they were doing?
Not enough. Not enough. It was going to be a short yardage play and a red zone play, but not enough. No, not right there. No. Thank you guys. Have a good day. Go tight.